I am not capable of teaching my students how to be creative, original, imaginative. I can't teach invention. What I teach is method.
The power of READ is in its focus on intellect. Our mission as faculty is to enhance the intellectual development of our students.
So refreshing to be in an institution where I go into class and before I walk in the classroom, I'm thinking, what are they going to ask me? My name's Noelle Winnetesel, and I came to READ in 1990. I'm an environmental natural resource economist.
I'm Angel Prado. I graduated May 2007, majored in economics.
The idea of a teacher-scholar model, it works so beautifully here. And I can't imagine not being in an institution that really embraces that.
I think the one thing that READ graduates will be able to do regardless is be able to formulate an argument and defend their ideas.
I'm Peter Steinberger. I'm a professor of political science and humanities, and I'm dean of the faculty.
I'm Jody Hoffer-Gittel. I was a student here from 1980 to 1985.
She had the fire in the belly to figure out how things worked. She wanted to understand how the world works.
And I remember so many times sitting there and Peter would just suddenly turn to me and say, Hoffer, what do you think? And you really had to think something. There's not a lot of distance here between the faculty and the students. It's, you're partners in the learning enterprise. And it's not like they're way up here and you're down here. When you sit around a table, you're equals.
Well, I'm Larry Rubin, professor emeritus in biology. I've been here 54 years.
My name's Susan Del Bene. I graduated in 1983 in biology. I'm not sure I would have had the confidence to have a point of view or take a contrary point of view if I hadn't been at a place like READ.
I believe strongly in treating them as if they were colleagues, not as students.
I really do think that it's given me a unique perspective and has made me a little bit more aware, a little bit more willing to push the boundaries of things. And overall, it has served me well. Even when I've gotten myself into trouble with it, in the end, it's probably been very educational. I'm still always learning, and I love that.
Hard work is fun at Reed College, and that was part of the ideology that I bought into.
Everyone calls it an incredibly rigorous academic institution.
The unique thing about teaching at Reed, for me, had to do with expectations.
Receiving the Iliad over the summer and, having to read it and, being ready for class the first day. I mean, it's like you already have, summer reading. I'm not sure if other colleges do that.
It's overwhelming for students, and it's also, I think, all-consuming for faculty.
You can't, but feel intimidated.
If you had a point of view that you couldn't support very well, you got beaten down very quickly. And you learned that that's not necessarily a fun thing to get, go in and get beaten down. So maybe next time I'll figure out how to support that a little bit better.
If it wasn't hard, it wouldn't be worth doing. What I teach is method. I teach disciplined modes of thought. I teach systems. I teach algorithms. I teach structures. Again, I try to create a disciplined mind.
Yeah, you can just create what you want.
I actually felt like creativity and analysis kind of just seem to go together.
READ's a breeding ground for creativity.
Our students are really interested in seeing both sides.
It's that creativity that fuels the analysis.
I can't teach creativity.
I think, if anything, I was too far on the creative side here and had to continue to work at, over my master's and my PhD, the analytical underpinnings of my thinking. And I think Peter critiqued me on that sometimes for being maybe somewhat less disciplined in my thinking than some of my peers. I think one thing that helped me was combining the theorizing with the empirical work, because there's a real structure to developing a hypothesis, collecting data, quantitative, qualitative, interviewing people like we're doing here, and using a methodology to really analyze those data and then having that be a stepping off point for additional theorizing.
The thesis students really do challenge all of us because they're working on topics frequently outside of our area of expertise. Angel was looking at Sarbanes-Oxley.
Wrote my thesis on John Rawls' theory of justice, theory of the socially embedded human subject. And my thesis is somewhere up here. In fact, I think when Peter showed me, it's up there in the stacks.
Oh, my thesis was on the effect of irradiation on thymic suppression in Xenopus flavus, the South African clawed toad. I gave a talk to a Rotary Club. A woman got up before me who was a new member of the Rotary, and she said, I'm a researcher and I do work on something called Xenopus flavus that none of you have ever heard about before, I'm sure. And I was about to be introduced as the speaker, and she was just a new person, and that was her brief spiel on herself. And I said, that would be the South African clawed toad, and everyone looks at me, and she looked at me stunned. I said, that's the first time knowing what Xenopus was ever, impressed anybody, but she was stunned. And everyone in the room thought it was brilliant, because gosh, if I knew that, I must know everything.
She cared. She cared about getting the arguments right. She cared about trying to understand what those arguments were, and do the arguments make sense. And that's what she was doing for school, and that's what she was doing for fun. And so in many respects, she was just a typical Reedy, and as such, a pleasure to work with.
I love that kind of intensity and someone actually caring, really caring what I thought.
I'm real proud of her. I really am. She's been a great success.
My biggest thing is thank you. Thank you for having the confidence in me, maybe when I didn't have the confidence in me, and for spending that time with me even when he was overseas and still working with me, but always kind of felt like a presence even when he was far away. And I still consider him a good friend and mentor after all these years, and so I'm really honored to have that relationship and to still know him.
No, she's a wonderful person and a great example of our students here.
The day he received an email from law school saying, you've been admitted, he immediately, I think he was in an airport, and he sent me an email. He said, I have some great news to share with you. I've just been admitted to Cornell Law School. And I think that was on Christmas Eve. And it was just so touching that, I'm hoping that he called his parents first.
I would want to give her a hug and then to say, thank you for everything that she has done to help me be the person that I am today.